Welcome to another episode of What It's Like, the automotive channel that shows you iconic cars like you've never seen them before. Before taking the tour, 1959 Chevy model lineup was broken down into three full-size model cars. Biscayne was in the basement, followed by the Bel-Air Impala at the top. Chevy also offered wagons in Parkwood, Kingswood, and Nomad. Chevy had a truck line going half-ton all the way up to the big commercial, and all new for 1959 was the El Camino, which bridged the gap between car and truck. It also was designed to be competitive against the Ford Ranchero. Chevrolet also made a sports car called the Corvette. Getting back to the cars, the Bel-Air being in the middle option, let's put all three up on the screen so you could see all three. Back in the day, car companies only offered essentially one full-sized car. That's how they were able to make brand new cars every year. And they just trimmed them out differently. So just take a look at that. There's Biscayne at the top, Bel-Air in the center, Impala at the bottom, which I guess it should have been reversed. Impala should be at the top. But anyway, I'm going to leave this here for a couple seconds so you can see the differences in the trim. And it's amazing how much trim can really change the appearance of the car overall. Chevy would offer the Bel-Air first as a two-door hardtop option from 1950 to 1952. In 1953, Chevy would make the Bel-Air its own top-shelf offering and would introduce the 150 for the base model, taking the place of Special, and the 210 replacing the Deluxe. But during this era of Chevrolet, 150 would be replaced by Biscayne, the 210 was replaced by Bel-Air, and sitting at the top was the Impala. Chevrolet would offer the Bel-Air as a standalone model from 1953 through 1981, and it would play the field as far as market position goes, going from having sort of like a Alpha Omega complex, starting at the very top from 1950 through 1957, and then it would go mid-range from 58 to about 75, and whenever the Biscayne was discontinued, it would become the basement offering. Offered in 7 generations, 1959 falls in the 4th generation, which was produced from 59 and 60. It's important to note that there was a concept car in 2002 with the Bel-Air name. 1959 Chevy Bel-Air could be had as a 2-door hardtop, 4-door sedan, 4-door hardtop, 2-door sedan. It's also important to note that 1959 was the very first year that Chevy started messing around with different tops, offering convertible, regular tops, and a flat top. 1959 saw a major redesign, so let's compare 58 on top, 59 on the bottom, starting in the front. Aside from the obvious that these are two totally different cars, let's talk about some similarities. Both have opposing windshield wipers, both have quad headlights, both are made by Chevy, both have wraparound windshields, but the wraparound windshields are done completely different. Both have the side mirrors located on the doors. Now let's talk about the differences. Starting with the grille design. Just look at how different those two grills are. The 59 actually has two grills. It has the grill in the nose part as well. That you'll see better when we do the walk around. Turn signal location has also changed. It's higher on the 59 versus more lower on the 58. The 58 headlights are mounted higher than the 59. Bumpers are drastically different. Grills are drastically different. Let's get back to that windshield profile. Look at the 58 windshield and look at the 59 windshield. The 59 windshield is huge, which you will see when we do the walk around. Also, I would like to address that on our feature car, those rims, they look like they're from the 70s, and rims really they're kind of like shoes. They kind of change the whole outlook, the whole appearance of the car. This car with white wall tires and the wheel covers would look like this. It gives it a totally different look. I found another similarity between these two. Both of these have fender markers, but they're designed differently. Moving to the side profile. As you can see, two very different side profiles because these are two totally different cars. The wraparound windshield on the 58 versus the wraparound windshield on the 59. Take a gander at the vent window profile because of the different windshield designs. The vent windows are totally different. The roof profiles are totally different. The 59 has delta fins at the back, whereas the 58 does not. I want to draw your attention to the window frames. On the 58, they look like they're bright. I don't know if that's aluminum. I've never been in a 58 two-door Bel-Air, but they're definitely bright, and on the 59, they are body color. Also take stock at how different the back section is like the back seat glass section is on the 59 versus the 58. The 59 has an astronomically huge back window for the rear occupants. Moving to the back, two totally different rear end designs. Taillights are done differently. The 59 has these cat eye taillights, whereas the 58 just has 4 taillights. The rear glass situation is interesting. The 58 has this big, massive wraparound rear glass. That's not to say that the 59 rear glass isn't huge, because it is absolutely massive, and it looks taller. 59 rear bumper is cleaner in design with these reverse fins underneath it, whereas the 58 has a bunch of different design elements going into it with different layers. Moving inside to take a look at the dash and interior situation, which both are completely different, which one do you like better? Let's talk specs. 210.9 inches long, 79.9 inches wide. It rides a wheelbase of 119 inches. It weighs 3,603 pounds. Price, $2,504, which would be equivalent to you spending $27,147.58 in the year 2025. Total 1959 Chevy production was 1,462,140 units, of which total Bel-Air was 447,100 units. Moving on to engines, which there was a plethora of different engines on offer to choose from, starting in the proverbial basement with the 235 cubic inch displacement overhead valve inline 6, 3.9 liters. It was good for 135 horsepower at 4,000 RPM with a bore of 3.6 inches and a stroke of 3.9 inches. Compression was 825 to 1 with 4 main bearings. Moving on to the first V8 choice, which was the 283 cubic inch displacement overhead valve V8, 4.6 liters. It was available in 3 horsepower configurations. You could either get it in the 185, 230, or 250 at 4,600 RPM. It could make up to 305 pound-feet or 414 newton meters around 3,800 RPM with a bore of 3.9 inches and a stroke of 3 inches. Compression is 850 to 1 with 5 main bearings. The biggest and baddest engine on offer for the Bel-Air was the 348 cubic inch displacement overhead valve V8. It was part of the W series engine family, 5.7 liters, and it could be had in a bunch of different engine horsepower configurations: 250, 280, 290, 300, 315, 320, 335, and 350. The easiest way to say that is 250 to 350 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, up to 364 pound-feet or 494 newton meters around 3,600 RPM with a bore of 4.1 inches and a stroke of 3.3 inches. Compression is anywhere from 9.5 to 1125 to 1 with 5 main bearings. If you've been in the market for a 2-door sedan, Chevy Bel-Air from 1959, I know a place where one is currently for sale. Classic Auto Mall, Morgantown, Pennsylvania, where they got this car, and over 1,000 cars currently for sale when recording this episode. And get this, anybody can go peruse their inventory in person at their showroom, which is literally 8 acres under roof, and it's a spectacle to behold, because I tell you what, when you walk through those doors for the very first time, I swear it's like car heaven, and you could hear angels sing. Insert angelic voice, because I'm just not up to it today. For hours of operation, directions, and to get the full scoop on this very car, be sure to click the link below after the show. Let's talk styling. Just look at all of the different lines going on in that headlight bezel. Check out that grille profile with the, I don't know if you'd call those bullets. It's like bullets with the edge taken off, really. Caps. Interesting. It also has grille up in here. Turn signal indicator right there. The bumper profile is very clean. It doesn't really have overriders. It has bumperettes at the bottom, or underriders. Chevrolet displayed here in the front. Comes to a ever so slight point there, and then it has a center line going back towards the wraparound windshield with windshield wipers that oppose. Very smooth hood profile. It does have an external cowl, stainless around the base of the windshield. Check out this windshield profile, massive piece of glass. Side mirror is placed adjacent to the vent window. This car does have drip rails, which start right here, and they run the cabin of the car, disappearing right about here. Aside from the center line, the hood profile is smooth. The fenders do have a line that comes off of the windshield. The most aggressive point seems to be in the middle here, and it goes to the fender markers. Lots of nice lines sculpted into the sheet metal in this design. These look like a later Chevrolet wheel design, but it looks absolutely awesome on this camera. Mastercraft Avenger GT wheels is what it's riding on. P225/70 R15s. Also notice the slight flare here on the wheel well. This car does not have rocker molding and or rocker trim. It does have beltline trim though. This car's pretty straight. And then it flares out more on the rear wheel opening than it did on the front one. The rear bumper wraps around. Also notice how this beltline trim comes back, tapers off before it comes to the cat eyes in the back. But just check out this fin profile. A friend of the channel, Bob Pfeiffer, if you're watching, he and he's a friend of mine. We became friends because of the channel. He's a really great guy. He was telling me that he had one of these, and you can't go over 110, and the back end starts to lift up off the ground. But just check out where this fin starts, just right behind the door, and it gets pretty aggressive pretty quickly. Check out this center channel right here. What a cool design. Bumpers in the back are totally different than the bumpers in the front. They do have this, like, it's almost like a reverse fin or skeg. Skeg is like a side fin, so I'd say that that's a reverse fin. Just check out, this door is all framed out. You guys should drink every time I say check out or do whatever, you know, party time, because I do say it a lot. Armrest, door handle to pull the door shut as well. You could also use this to pull the door shut with too, but I wouldn't recommend it because sometimes they do have a tendency to come off. But that's the door handle to get out. Window crank for the vent window, which operates like that. Window crank for the big window. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, you have the high beam switch, parking brake release. There is a vent there for the footwell, really nice feature. Clutch, brake, gas pedal. Just take a gander at this interior. Here is what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person over the hood would look like. Up above, this car doesn't have any sun visors, and it doesn't have any evidence that there ever was any sun visors. Interesting. It does have a rear view mirror here in the center. Also notice the profile of the windshield inside here. It goes back quite a ways before it connects to the roof. Here's your ashtray and or power port change collector. On to the button switches and knobs. Starting on the left and moving right, you have generator, oil pressure in one. And then you have temperature over here in the next pod, followed by speedometer. Notice it goes to 120 miles per hour with the Chevy badge right there in the center. It also looks to be turn signal indicators down there flanking the odometer, gasoline gauge, and then I'm assuming that's where the clock went, but whoever bought this car first decided not to get the clock. Then you have headlights, windshield wiper, heat and ventilation controls, fan speed, defrost, heat, air, key, radio, Chevrolet. On to the glove box test. Here's our test subject. Here is my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question. Notice it has 2 dose round cup indentations in this glove box. In this glove box door. We finally got one where it fits in the glove box. Not a problem at all. There's more space on this side. We're going to get in the back on this side to just be easier. But that is how far the door opens. It's not quite 90 degrees, but it's plenty big to have full access into here. Also, just look at how aggressive this is. But getting in the back, slide the seat forward like that, pivots out of your way. I also want to draw to your attention, notice the floorboards here versus here. It's more channeled out here or tubbed out than it is here. This isn't even touched, it's all just flat. So that's a really cool design choice. Here is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse or the pillar to glass ratio. It's nice in this car, very airy. It doesn't even feel like there's a roof on this car because of how small the pillars are. There aren't that many pillars. Even this being a 2-door sedan with the post, it doesn't really affect the airiness in here. This is what visibility looks like out the back from the back seat. Nice big parcel shelf back there. Creature comforts. There is a dome light in center. Ashtray. You know, you got the smoking package. You got the ashtray. There's not a cigarette lighter back here, though. Armrest. Window crank, which works like this. Which, it doesn't go straight up and down either, even though it's a post car. But it doesn't go all the way down. I think that's really cool how that worked. So just look at that. Seat back profile. It's reclined slightly. The seat does dip down in the back, but it's not uncomfortable. It's actually really comfortable considering that they decided to tub the back here. I got tons of space between my knees and the back of the seat. plenty comfortable. You could fit 2 other me's back here and we would all 3 be comfortable. This car could easily fit 6 people in it comfortably. Coming to the under the hood section, right here is the hood release. It's all one motion, meaning there's not a secondary catch. This one's got a 12-volt battery. Dual horns right up here in the front. Also, check out these grills. You can see them a little bit better now that they're exposed without the hood covering them up. Not to say that they're covered up entirely. They're just kind of tucked inside there. They're exposed. This is a interesting radiator. It's like 2 inches wide, but it's massive. It's a single belt system that runs just the water pump fan combo and the generator down here. This car does not have power steering. Yeah, no power steering, no power brakes, single master cylinder, oil bath air cleaner, 235 inline 6. Notice the oil filtration is still inside that canister with the oil lines going up to it. I just love how accessible everything is. That's the greatest thing about these older cars. There's no plastic crap anywhere. There's no unnecessary BS. Steering shaft going down inside the box down here. Telephone Lines playing by ELO. It's a great song. It's one of my favorite songs by that group. Distributor right there with the coil. On the positive side, they are very uniquely styled. 1 gear only body design, reliable, well-known engines, plus there's a plethora of different horsepower configurations to choose from. 5 different transmission options on offer, including a 4-speed manual, 3-speed manual, 2-speed power glide, etc. These do not cost as much as the Tri-5 Chevys. Spacious both front and rear, great visibility, camera fits in glove box. Against it, according to the Book of Collectible Cars by Richard M. Langworth, it says the brakes tend to overheat and fade. They are rust prone, slow manual steering, it says to avoid it. Dull performance with the 6-cylinder, far less wildly than a 55 through 56, 57 Chevys. But I think that those are overrated, personally. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. 2 scenarios today. In the first scenario, would you rather have a 1959 Ford Custom 300 or 1959 Chevy Bel-Air or 1959 Plymouth Belvedere? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the second scenario, and it's a bit outside the box, but which one would you rather have? 1959 Studebaker Silver Hawk, which, interestingly enough, costs less than the Chevy Bel-Air, or 1959 Chevy Bel-Air, or 1959 AMC Rambler sedan. I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to Name That Tune. First person to give all 3, name of the song, band, and the lyric that comes next will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Good day to be alive, sir. Good day to be alive, he said. Yeah. I know. Don't quit my day job, but I like to have some fun sometimes. So I'm looking for the line that comes next, song title, and artist, to have your name pinned to the top of the comment section. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. I appreciate everything that you guys bring in the comment section. I love reading the stories. I love the memories that you guys share. Keep doing that because it's awesome. It adds a layer of awesomeness that I can't provide. Also, been contemplating on moving the time of when we're going to air these. I'm thinking about moving it to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What do you guys think? Do you like 6 or do you like 8 better? In the comment section below. Until next time, toodaloo! Thank you so much for making it this far. Welcome to the after show. This is part of the video doesn't have any sound or commentary or music, but you can put whatever music you'd wish in the background. See this car like you've never saw it before. Enjoy.